What's up, guys? Welcome to Hall 9 Romine Ball Talk. We are talking reading a swing today, probably the secret sauce to fielding. Like, this is what is going to elevate your fielding to the level you need it to be at to be great, I would say.
Right. This was what I always said made the difference between you're just a computer robot standing at short or standing at second, and as soon as the ball hit, you go, right? And from there, you're just who's faster, right? So this is that kind of untalked about skill where you can read swings, you can see what's going to happen beforehand. You almost have a little bit of ESP going on, so you can sense what's going to happen.
This is where if I'm playing shortstop and Romine's hitting, if he hits me a backhand in the hole and I'm able to set up and ready to throw it, I might be able to throw him out. But if I have to gather at all, I'm not throwing him out because of his speed. And the way I'm able to get to that backhand and set up is because I'm reading his swing. But he's probably not going to roll over in the hole anyways. He's going to shoot a line drive up the middle. So neither here nor there.
I had my share of rollovers, but you're right. You're dead on, though. This is the difference between one step or one stumble or a gather. And if you're there and don't have to do that, then you're making plays on your feet that other people are diving for. So
yeah,
let's get rolling. I want to see what you have in this, because we haven't talked about this one yet.
No, and this for me, like I was thinking about earlier, the first time I really noticed myself really reading a swing, like I would practice it, but the first time I really noticed that I was actually doing it without thinking about it was, I was like, I think it was a junior in high school, and there was a swing and miss, and I literally took like 3 steps towards third base when I was playing shortstop. And I was like, whoa, it hit me. I was like, holy crap. I knew that if he made contact, he was pulling that baseball in the hole. And that was like the first time it hit me that I was like actually really reading swings on that kind of level. I mean, I probably was on a smaller level leading up to that, but that was the first time where I saw bat in the zone and I knew where the swing was going to go.
Right.
And I don't know, for me, before college, like I didn't really look at the signs too much. So everything was always reading the bat. Now, once you start looking at signs and you pick up the guy's throwing a curveball or something, it's easier to adjust and know he's probably going to be early. But up until that point, it was always seeing the bat head and where the bat head was in the zone as the ball was coming in.
Right. And for me, the BP was where I started on that.
Yep.
So I'm out there. If I'm playing shortstop today, I'm taking my reads at shortstop, and I'm not taking my whole BP, just ground balls off of fungos. I'm taking ground balls off of the guys hitting, because I want to see where my reactions are that day. Am I getting in too early? Am I getting my feet set too late? Am I still in the air? You know, things like that, where it's just like hitting. You got to get that timing going. So for me, I started BP off of our hitters, watching them take practice swings, seeing where they're going with the ball, seeing what their swing looks like and what the result is. And I'm trying to get the best jumps that I can get. Now, if they hit it to me, cool, I go get it and I feel the ground ball that's live. And that's just one more live ball practice that you got.
Yep. And if they hit it to right field, you're still, I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, a fly ball to right field, I was still chasing that ball 2 to 3 hard steps, not like a casual get off and go. It was like I was breaking on the ball basically up the middle, like a ground ball I was going to get, because I wanted to get used to seeing the ball come off in every angle possible.
Right.
Because in a game, you never know. You might get a guy out in front. You might get a guy who's late, but his barrel's hooking around the ball. And even though he's late, he still pulls it to you on the ground because his barrel's getting long. So reading all those different types of swings, MVP, and not only chasing balls to me, but chasing balls to every part of the park was huge.
Yeah. Those first couple of steps, you've gotta take those first 2 steps, 3 steps hard. Otherwise you're not, it's just like taking a practice swing, but only swinging half speed. It's kind of like it's a waste almost, right? So I always felt like I'm practicing full speed. It's gotta be full speed. So, but you touched on it already, which was the next point I wanted to bring up. You can anticipate things based off of the pitch that's coming. You were saying, guys, you know a guy's throwing a changeup, or you know he's throwing a breaking ball now. Well, as you start to get to the higher levels, we start telling the third basemen and the first basemen what the pitches are, because we can see them from second and short. Now, obviously, we're not going to talk a lot about the outfield because it's a little bit more difficult to read a swing when you're 300 feet away. So
sure.
You do your best, and you read what you can, but you can't see pitches, and it's really difficult to see what their swing is doing. And that's when it becomes you gotta be able to pick up a ball to bat quickly. But for me, knowing pitches was incremental, and it becomes more important as you get older because they're gonna throw it where they want to as you get older. So
Yes.
you know if this guy calls a sinker in, it's gonna be in. For the most part, it's going to be in. So if this guy's going to do anything with it, he's going to pound it into the ground on the line. If he's a righty down the left field line, and you got to let your third baseman know, hey, some off speed's coming here. He's probably going to turn on it down the line. Be ready to go to your right.
So how would you let them know? What? I mean, I know what we did at ASU, but like, explain to people how you let that guy know, because you couldn't be like, "Yo, curveball's coming!" Like you couldn't like yell over at him like everybody would know. So how do you do that?
I think it was kind of universal that everybody had that little tss, where you kind of make like a weird little noise that isn't usually heard on a baseball field, but just loud enough for the guy next to you to hear it, not loud enough for the hitter to hear it, right?
Yep. And when are you making that noise? Are you making it early, or are you making it like when the pitcher's pitching? At what point are you making that noise?
I like to do it as he's coming set. So I don't want to wait until he's set, and then because he could pitch at any time. So I want to make sure I got it out. Usually as he's coming up set like that, I'm going, and it's real quick and short. And then you do it once, look over at the guy and be like, hey, can you hear me doing that? And then he'll either say yeah, or he'll be like, no, I had no idea an off speed was coming. You got to be louder.
Yeah. And playing third base, like having a shortstop that'll do this for you, is huge, because it is extremely scary when you got a 6'4", 220-pound guy up there and he turns on a curveball and you didn't know it was coming.
Right.
Because that thing is coming in hot. When
you get guys like Nelson Cruz at the plate, it's pretty helpful to know when somebody's going to mash a ball down your throat. So definitely watching the signs so you know the pitches and relaying it. Knowing the situation. That's another thing. If a guy's, they got a guy on second base and his job with nobody out is to get him over, that hitter is way more inclined to force a ball over to the right side of the field. Now, if Judge is up or somebody's 4-hole guy's up, they're probably saying, hey, just hit a home run, right? Yeah. We're not telling you to get a guy over with, an inside-out swing. But for the rest of the people, they're trying their best, especially at the younger ages. They're trying their best to move that guy over. So there's that inclination of a righty trying to stay inside it and a lefty maybe even trying to roll something over on purpose. Right. So you can anticipate that.
Yeah, definitely. And with your setup, so a lot of times, let's go back to like talking about reading the signs and looking at signs. If you know a curveball's coming, you're a shortstop, like you don't just want to take 2 steps to the hole, because the hitter's going to start to see that and be like, oh, why is the shortstop moving over? So a lot of time your pre-pitch, I know, Andrew, you were like kind of like a step-in guy. I was more of a step and hop. Like my hop would usually be kind of sideways. Like I would step straight and then like hop to the side a little bit to get my momentum over there a little bit. And it wasn't a ton, but it was enough to where I was, gaining some ground towards the pull side in case that guy did roll over a curveball. It was basically taking an educated guess of where I thought he was going to hit the ball based off of pitch type. Right. I'm still reading his swing from as the ball's going in, but I'm trying to position myself as best as possible for the pitch coming.
Absolutely. And you can see as the game goes on whether this guy's sitting on an off speed or not. If this guy's sitting on an off speed pitch and he's not necessarily sitting on a fastball and adjusting off speed, because let's say somebody's sitting on a fastball, which they normally are. They're trying to set up for the fastest pitch. They see something off speed, they're a little bit out in front most of the time. Well, if somebody's sitting off speed, then they're probably not going to be as likely, I would say, I guess, to pull it if it's off speed. Yeah. So it's more likely that if you're sitting off speed, you're going to hit it back up the middle. And if it's a fastball, you're going to be a little bit later on it. So you might not go to as much pull if you know a guy's sitting off speed.
Right. Yeah, and you can tell that too, just like even by watching him take pitches, you can tell by the way a guy takes a curveball. if he has like any motion towards it, it's a ball in the dirt. If he like motions towards it, a lot of times you're like, oh, maybe he was a little bit fooled. But if it's in the dirt and he just spits on it, you're like, oh, he was probably either A, looking for it, or he picked it up crazy quick and he's not fooled by it at all. So
I love that taking pitches is because you think there's not much happening when you take a pitch or when somebody takes a pitch, and there's a lot of information given when somebody takes a lot of information, which means there's no reason to take any pitches off. Even if you're in the dugout watching somebody, especially from the side angle, you can learn so much from the way they take a pitch from the side angle.
Yep. I never did this because I didn't have the ability to get late in counts, or I didn't like getting late in counts, but I'm sure there's a lot of big league hitters who will purposely take pitches early to try to set up for something. Like they know the tendency of a pitcher, so they might take early to try to get to a pitch that they know that guy likes to come with later on in at bats. Yeah. And
Torrey Hunter was notorious for saying, yeah, I'll look stupid on one early just so that I can get him to throw it again. And I'm like, hey, lucky you that you can just waste a strike like that. I'm going, no, I don't want to get any strikes on me. But, some people are a different breed.
Yep. So let's go back to reading the swing a little bit. And I think this is like also something that's not worked on a whole lot or talked about a whole lot in practice, especially at the high school and below level. So if your team does do batting practice, like Andrew was saying earlier, it's really good to get your ground balls, get fungos, but also make sure you're taking a lot of live reps. Like don't just have an entire BP session where the coach just pounds you fungo after fungo after fungo. Ask him if you can take like 5 to 6 batters where you're getting your reads live off of his swings, because even if you don't get a single ground ball in those 5 rounds, which you probably will, but even if you don't, those reads you get will benefit you way more than those routine fungos that coach is going to hit you.
Yeah, I always took 1 round. I took a round of ground balls. I got my work in. I did all my different throwing angles, throw to second, throw across, and then I would make sure I took 1 whole round of just reading. And it was usually that round, the last round before you would run in to go get ready to hit.
Yeah.
And then just because you want to get different batters, lefties, righties, pull guys, opposite field hitters. You want to see their different swings so that you see this stuff before you get into the game.
Yep. And at the high school level too, like you should have plenty of time to get these reads in, because you probably don't have enough coaches to where there's a coach throwing BP, a coach who's able to hit a fungo to the left side, a coach who's able to hit a fungo to the right side. You probably don't have enough of those coaches. So there should be at least a period where you have time to get those reads and take advantage of it. Don't use that time of not getting fungos to go and hang out with your buddies. Like, get those reads in. And like, if you feel like you've got enough reads in, then, you can go have some fun in the outfield and shag some fly balls, but get that work in early because it pays off big time.
Right. And so, like we said, I got right here, we're talking mostly infield stuff. We're not really getting into the outfield part of it, but one of the things that, we talked about all the pre-stuff right now, and I want to get into the actual swinging and reading it as they're swinging. So we see, in my mind, there's 3 different types of swings, if you want to break it down to a simple form. You can get more in-depth later, but you have the uppercut swings where everybody's trying to launch. You have those chopping swings where the people who nowadays want to talk about the old school chop down, swing down on it. And then you have those flat swings. So essentially we're talking, you got your uppercut, you got your chop it down, and you have your level swing. So to start with, what most people are talking about now, you're getting a little more inverted with that barrel. And that these guys, if they're a little early on something, they're most likely to be in and out of the zone and up. And then they're hitting the top of the ball. So if they're hitting the top of the ball, they're getting a lot of topspin. Those ground balls are going to be, maybe bouncing high or chopping, or maybe a hard topspin line drive through the infield. But they tend to end up pulling the ball. When they go oppo, it tends to be a little more flared into right because they get underneath it and they hit it deeper. But those guys, you can see these swings. You can see them take these swings on deck. You can see a guy swing before he gets to the plate. There's no way that you should be seeing his first swing when he steps in the batter's box. You can get that done when you're watching him on deck in between pitches. It happens all the time.
Yeah, and that's a good point too, to look for the uppercut flat or that type of swing. Because we talked about a guy who stays inside the ball nicely and a guy who might get around, but those angles make a huge difference as well.
Well, it tells you a lot about how they're going to hit different types of pitches.
Yeah.
And which, I mean, you go to the next one. We go to somebody who's going to be a little more down angle. Those guys tend to hit more backspin, line drives. Their ground balls tend to be the high choppers because they got on top of it. They hit the top of it down, and it goes straight down. They tend to be a little more late and hit balls to the opposite field. Is from my experience.
Yeah.
Now, maybe that guy's cheating today, which is something that you can tell after one swing, or like we said, how he took his pitch.
Right.
So
and a lot of times too, like like you're saying, being early or late, or how he's taking pitches, you can watch their front hip too. A lot of times their front hip, if they're cheating that day, that front hip's going to fly a little early towards third base, and now he's probably looking to pull a little bit. He's looking to get the barrel out. He's looking to do some damage out front. So there's going to be a lot more action your way. Now, if he's taking pitches and he's staying closed, he's probably going to use the middle of the field a lot better, middle opposite field. So just kind of watching tendencies on how they take pitches as well is just as important as reading the swing.
Right. Checking guys' shoulder planes was one of my big things. Watching whether or not their back shoulder's dipping. Are they getting underneath balls? Are they fouling balls off to the opposite field? Are they pulling balls foul with hook spin? Like, there's a lot of different ways that you can miss a ball.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of different ways you can actually put a ball in play. So being able to see these types of swings before they actually happen, and then you've already done your prep. You've already done your fake breaks during BP. You've already done all of this pre-work in your head, and then you just trust it. You don't want to have to wait and see where the ball's going. You want to have an idea before that I know when he takes this type of swing, this is where the ball's going to go. That guy's throwing a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. This guy's late today. I'm anticipating that he's going to be hitting it to my left side.
Yep. Yeah, like I said earlier, I think this is the secret sauce to being, going from like a good shortstop or good infielder to a great infielder, because, speed is huge, but like that first step, quickness and being able to read is, I think, just as important as overall top speed, because you need to be able to get going where you're going as quick as possible.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I was in the big leagues for a couple of years at this point, and Omar Vizquel became the infield coach with the Tigers. And there would be a foul ball, and he would move me 3 steps to one side. I mean, when you're in the big leagues and you move somebody 3 steps, that is drastic.
Yeah.
Drastic. And
yeah.
Inevitably, either the next pitch or the one after, the guy hits the ball somewhere within my vicinity. And I'm just thinking, and he's in the dugout seeing this. And I'm thinking, man, this guy's seen 20-something years of ground balls, and he's seen 20-something years of swings. He can almost anticipate where the ball's going to go before it's even hit.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why he was one of the best to ever play the game. So to me, that's not – I always look back at Rounders, the movie where they play poker, and he talks about it as – it's not a coincidence that it's the same 5 people sitting at the final table every year. Are they the 5 luckiest people in the world?
Right.
Like, is Omar Vizquel the luckiest infielder in the world? No. Like, he had an idea and he went off of it because he had the knowledge and he had the practice behind it. So he knew. He was confident in his decisions, watching people's swings, watching the pitches, knowing what's coming, relaying information, watching people, how they foul the ball off. Like, there's an infinite different ways that you can get information if you just put the time in.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, I always tell my guys, like, Derek Jeter's a great example too, I think, because I don't think he was the fastest, most athletic shortstop, but that dude made every single routine play and he made it look easy because of his positioning, because of his pre-work that he would do to read a swing or to position himself before the pitch was thrown. And he would just always be in the right spot. Like, very rarely did you see Derek Jeter, like, out of position to get a backhand and have to struggle to throw the ball. He was almost always there because his first step was so good at reading.
Right. And his preparation beforehand, the knowledge that he had about the hitters. I mean, obviously it's a big league, so you get every piece of information you want. You know, younger level guys aren't going to have that information, which means you're going to have to do that work. You're going to have to study those hitters as much as you study the pitchers that you're about to hit.
But you can get that information. You get a lot of that information within one at bat, especially the younger age, because those guys aren't going to make adjustments on their swing throughout the game. It's going to be the same swing all game long.
Right.
So whatever swing that guy takes his first at bat is 99% of the time going to be the same swing he takes in his second and third at bat.
I agree.
You know,
they're not going to change it all of a sudden. That's for sure.
No, big league level, you might. I mean, minor leagues, big leagues, you might start changing some stuff to make those adjustments. But high school level and below, most hitters they won't even know what to change to make an adjustment. Like they would have no clue what they're doing to make an adjustment. So they're going to take the same swing again.
I love it. All right, we haven't done this in the past, but I see some questions randomly come in that my wife mentioned, because she goes, "Are you guys even reading these things as they come in, or are you guys just talking and not listening?" So I wanted to try and go back and answer. Some people said hi, some people.
Jessica needs a mortgage, so you might want to hit her up.
All right, Jessica, send me a message.
A lot of people want you back in Detroit.
Not right
here
now.
in Arizona.
Not right now. I like the sun. Thank you, but no thank you. Somebody's got a beer league going.
He said he was doing all nine positions in his beer league.
I like that. What else we got?
I didn't see any questions come through.
No, Kat said we got a handful of questions last time and we didn't even acknowledge it.
We'll get better. If anyone in here, there's only one person in here, so they don't have any questions, I'm sure. If they do, type it in.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We're going to wrap this one up early. Look at that.
Well, I mean, it's still like 25 minutes, so we did better than a half hour, so
we'll cut off the front 5 where we were BSing.
Sounds good. Well, hey, another episode in the books. I think this was episode 8. So
8, yeah.
Huh?
I said 8, dude. It's 8 already.
8 already, man. We're going to be at 100 before we know it. So thanks for joining Hall 9 Romine Ball Talk, fielding positions. No, it wasn't fielding positions. It was reading a swing. Fielding positions was last week. Reading a swing, getting a jump on the ball. Hope you learned something new. Like, comment, share with somebody. Any traction we get helps build this, and we'll continue to put out information for you guys. So if you need anything, let us know in the comments. Hit us up in the DMs, ask questions, and we'll get back to you. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you Friday.